Hello my friends, so I welcome all of you, almost 98,000 star seeds, light workers and wanderers to this session. In today's session, I have asked about 3 questions in particular to the Galactic Federation. The first query is about the Looking Glass event for the month of January 2023. And by the way, I want to say to you all Happy New Year. And in this session, they describe to us what is the next Looking Glass event and also how can we stop it. The other thing that I have asked in this session is about what is Ascension in reality. And turns out, there are 4 Ascension methods which were previously banned by the Council of Planets, which were not allowed to be taught to any of us since we were not ready, and they can now teach us. So in this session, they have shared with us the 4 banned Ascension techniques or methods, which you will understand how to use them as you listen to the session, and also you will understand what is Ascension in reality, because we have been confused. Many of us, we are not sure what is Ascension. We know about Ascension, but we are not clear about what it is. So in this session, all of that doubt will be cleared. And finally, I also have asked about the soul evolution or the truth about Ismael Perez. If you're in the spiritual community, you may already have come across Ismael Perez and his videos talking about galactic history and all other Ascension related topics. So many of you wanted to know his soul evolution and what is the truth about Ismael Perez. So in this session, that has also been discussed, and obviously I am channeling his soul evolution with his permission, which I got from his Instagram account. So he gave me the permission to do that. Every time, if you want to know about your soul's identity, your soul name and your past life, and any other questions you may have, I can channel for you. You can send me an email. The link is on the description as well as over here. And also I want to say thank you for liking the video, as it helps to reach out to other star seeds and wanderers at this time. So with that being said, enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Galactic Federation, and we communicate now through this instrument with regards to the queries that are presented today. Furthermore, there is a need for inner discretion and discernment to be applied by entities who shall listen to our messages, in which we are communicating through this instrument's vibratory sound complex. Furthermore, the queries that are in order pertain to the update regarding the next Looking Glass event for the month of January 2023. And in this regard, we have to state that upon scanning the query, we are of the opinion that the so-called Looking Glass event for the month of January 2023 is the implantation of genetic modification technologies by the Orion Anunnaki Reptilian Grey Social Memory Complex, who are planning to enter the Earth's quarantine field and try to change the genetic DNA component of the so-called second density reptilian entities that are in the form of animal life form and a part of the Earth planet. This is scheduled to happen as a means of last resort because the Orion Reptilian Anunnaki Social Memory Complex has to make final changes to the plans. In order to control humanity, they will try to enter into the Earth's planetary field through the quarantine flap that will probably open up during the time period of the month of January 2023 on the day of 27th January, and they will abduct the so-called reptilian species of animal life forms in order to try and change their genetic material. During this time period, there will be many anomalies of so-called unidentified flying objects that will be visible to your people who shall receive such type of spacecrafts in this time. For the negatively oriented reptilians would try to abduct the animal life forms and install in their genetic DNA the required changes that will allow them to develop self-awareness by trying to hack into their genetic material. This will allow the so-called animal life forms of reptilian nature to develop self-awareness over the span of a few months, and they may even try to become smarter than the human mind-body-spirit complexes. Furthermore, this is the event that has been projected upon the looking glass for the month of January. We, the Galactic Federation, would state that the best way to stop such an event would be via the process of protecting all second-density animal life forms with the vibration of love light energy that is available to all human consciousness to project onto. This can be done by the collective consciousness of humanity through a meditative process and to send love light vibrations to such entities. In order to put a shield around their bodily complexes to protect them from being abducted, we shall now address the second query, which relates with what is ascension in reality. Hence we shall address this. However, we must state that ascension that we shall describe may not be as expected by many of your people on the Earth planet, for they find different distortions of the same concept, and this has led to much confusion upon your planetary illusion environment. Hence, for the sake of clarification of the query placed by this instrument, we must state that ascension is the term given to returning back to the one infinite creator. Therefore, any moment an individualized portion of consciousness becomes capable of sensing or raising its level of vibration, or becomes more self-aware of its inner self, it is ascending into higher levels of consciousness, which is the same as movement towards merger with the one infinite creator. Furthermore, we shall now share the 4 types of ascension stages that can be encountered in the Earth planet for the better understanding of your people. However, these stages and methods of ascension had been previously banned by the Council of Planets because humanity wasn't ready for these methods until now. As the new Earth fully begins to start, these methods of Ascension can be applied to allow for entities on the Earth planet to enter a higher level of vibration sequence of love light properly. The first is awakening of the mind complex. As entities on the Earth planet begin to face psychological suffering, they begin to realize that the mind complex is the one aspect that results in such types of psychological suffering. Furthermore, the results of this self-awareness leads entities to detach from thought forms composed of lights and sounds, which is the elementary part of all thought forms, which lead to the creation of a thought form inside the mind complex. Furthermore, such types of thought forms eventually lead all entities to enter into the self-awareness that all thought forms are but creations of a mind complex supposition based upon a certain block of lights and dark combination inside the mind complex, along with a certain sound vibratory sequence. This means that all imagination sequences are not real, as they are composed of lights and dark sequences and sound from the throat energy center. However, the lights-dark sequences are assumed and supposed to be existing by the mind complex, which has the habits of filling up what is missing, and this supposition and assumption allows for the creation of the imagination sequences in the time-space experience, which are then understood by the mind complex to be a reality. The same is the case with all vibration experiences in the dream states. Furthermore, this is encountered when a major epiphany or set of mental realization is reached. This will help in the detachment with thought forms, which are ultimately illusory. The second stage is the awakening from attachment of sounds, which emerges from the throat energy center and going within to find out the true source of all sounds, which is in essence emptiness or silence of the mind, from which all sound vibrations emerge and are heard inside the mind complex. This exercise of moving to the depth of the sound vibration sequence to find out its place of origin would be the best method, which will allow any entity to experience a greater understanding of the mind space, which can furthermore allow the entity to have a deeper understanding that all sounds are but creations of the inner silence. Therefore, this Ascension stage is reached usually during meditation practices done by your people, wherein they are able to adjust their thought forms to understand that all sounds emerge from the same source, the inner silence, which is the seat of the one infinite creator. This also leads to an understanding of the truth of the energy center of the throat ray, which is the seat of all sounds emerging within the self. Or now we shall share the third stage, which is the awakening of a new personality. When the mental awakenings mentioned above become natural, then the process of awakening becomes stabilized, and then the process of awakening of a real personality begins. This causes changes in the substructures of the life cycle changes drastically because of a personality change. The final stage is the ascension of the soul, which happens when the above stages are mastered, and the creation of a soul complex within this incarnation is activated. Such types of entities will begin to create massive positive distortions of light love and affect the planetary consciousness as a whole. Now we shall address the final query, which relates with the past timelines and lifetimes of an entity known as Ismael Perez, as requested with the prior permission of the entity known as Ismael by this instrument, whose incarnation began on the timeline of 1977. In this space and time continuum, the entity prior to this timeline was found in infinite timelines, wherein the entity learned the various lessons that led it to reach up to this point in its spiritual evolution. Furthermore, prior to this, the entity known as Ismael Perez was found in the planets of Lyra B in the Lyrian constellation, wherein it learns the lessons of fourth density consciousness as a Lyrian entity and master the aspect of being in the vibration of fourth density consciousness. Furthermore, prior to this timeline, this entity was found in one of its incarnation on the Earth planet, wherein its incarnation occurred in the lands of Africa as known by a people, wherein it learned the lessons of mastery, service to others. It was known by the sound complex of Akai. And the timeline incarnation of around 1826, and it served a large number of entities as a chieftain of the clan which was present in that location of Africa in which it was found. This made it eligible for graduation into the fourth density planet of Lyra, because of the service to others which it was able to provide in the lands of Africa. Furthermore, prior to this, it was found in the location of the Lemurian lands around a period of 30,000 years ago. During the time of the Battle of Lemuria, wherein it had incarnated as a Lemurian entity known as R, whose main purpose was to escort the remaining Lemurians to Mount Shahashta, wherein they found their place of residence after the original lands of Lemuria were submerged by the reptilians. And prior to this incarnation in this timeline, it was found in the planet of Mars, wherein it spent its life lessons learning the lessons of awareness as second density entities, similar to the so-called frogs as found on the Earth planet at this time. And it learned the lessons as first density entities such as fire at a period of 228 million years ago. It was known by the soul name of Pyra, which meant the awakened one. Furthermore, the main soul purpose of the entity at this timeline is to fulfill its mission as a wanderer in this timeline, to assist the planetary vibration to enter into the highest possible timeline, which will allow the entity to enter the deepest possible levels of reality and ascend the whole galactic consciousness into the new Earth timeline. And we, the Galactic Federation, now leave you. Bye.
So now, my friends, after watching the session, I hope you have gained some understanding about what Galactic Federation have tried to share through this session. So basically, let me give you a breakdown of what I understood. First thing that I remember from the session is regarding the next Looking Glass event. And Galactic Federation said that the next Looking Glass event will possibly happen around 27th of January, wherein the negative entities, the Orion, Reptilian, Anunnaki social memory complex, this is what they said, may try to enter the Earth's quarantine field, and they may try to change the DNA of the reptilian animal life forms. So I believe the crocodiles, the snakes, and they may, if they get a chance to do this, they may abduct them and they may do some genetic modification, which will then later on, it turns out, will allow them to become self-aware like humans. And they also said that this can happen over a period of a few months. So I think this is an event. We can stop the event through meditation, and I will hold a meditation on my Patreon. The link is on the description before that event, and so that we can stop it. And also I want to say that the other thing is about the 4 band ascension methods, right? So the first one, which I remember from the session, they said is to learn to detach from our thought forms, right? So basically, what Galactic Federation said is that ascension in reality is the merger towards the creator. So anytime you are becoming self-aware, or anytime you are learning to remain in silence, or anytime you're mastering yourself, you're trying to raise your vibration, you are ascending. Okay, so that is ascension basically. And there are the first method I remember is detaching from our imagination thought forms. So basically what I remember is they said that our imagination is not real, because our imagination is composed of light and dark sequences. And I think that's true, because if I close my eyes, if I imagine something, imagine myself holding my phone, it's just like white, and it's just like light, right? It's just the light that I can sense. But my mind, it automatically assumes that it is a phone. So basically, I think what they're trying to tell us is to question our thought forms, to question our imagination. Many a times, we are imagining something negative, and because of that, we enter into a negative spiral because we perceive it to be real. But in essence, it's just light and darkness combined together. So this is the first stage of awakening towards ascension. And the second stage is very interesting, in that what Galactic Federation said is to realize that all of your thought forms are primarily emerging from the silence. So if you just like for a moment take some time out and just if you just become aware of the sounds that are coming out from your throat center, and if you go to the root of where is the sound coming from, you'll find out that it's coming from silence. It's coming from emptiness of the mind. And the third one is the awakening of a new personality. When you master the above 2 stages of ascension, you will reach a level wherein you will be able to enter into the state of consciousness, wherein you will have a new personality emerging from yourself. And this new personality will be based upon inner silence, based on your true self, and then you will change. Your personality will basically change. That's what they're saying. And when you master this stage, then you will reach the final stage, which is the awakening of your soul. And your soul, once it awakens, get ready, because what they said is you will have massive effects upon humanity, upon the world, because your energy vibration will be so high that you will literally be able to change the planet's consciousness and vibration. And this is what was said in the session. And regarding Ismael Perez's past life, all I remember from the session is they said that he's a wanderer. And I remember a few of the details, like he was found in Lemuria, and he tried to help in the rescue mission of the Lemurians. Because one of the sessions which I had done back 1 year ago, they talked about how the Lemurians were destroyed by the reptilians. So I believe Ismael is in this planet as a wanderer to raise the planetary consciousness. So if you want to follow Ismael Perez, his channel link is on the description, as well as I want to say thank you to all of you for joining me on my Patreon, where I do 3 sessions a week, and also we do meditations to help us to ascend higher in consciousness and to protect our planet. And also I want to say that thank you to all of you for getting the book of channeling sessions. If you want to read it in a book format, then you can get it. The link is on the description. And also thank you to all of you for liking this video, and I'll see you in the next session. Until that time, I think you'll enjoy this video over here.